Welcome friends in this video. This video is the fourth video in the series of the poem The Last Ride Together. Today in this video we will discuss the remaining last four stanzas of the poem The Last Ride Together. As we have already discussed that Robert Browning is one of the major poet of the Victorian age, and he is known for his dramatic monologue. His excellence is so perfect in the genre of dramatic monologue. Last Ride Together is a dramatic monologue in which a lover is the speaker who has been jilted by his beloved, and he asks her for a last ride together. He requests her for that last ride, which his beloved agrees. So in this poem, the speaker, that is the lover, is expressing his thought on his love, his beloved, and the future of his love. That makes the content of this poem. Now, first, I will read out the text of the poem, and then we will discuss what he wants to say in these stanzas. What does it all mean, poet? Well, your brains beat into rhythm. You tell what we felt only. You expressed, you hold things beautiful, the best, and pace them in rhythm, so side by side. It's something, nay, it's much. But then, have you yourself what's best for man? Are you poor, sick, old, ere your time? Nearer one wit, your own sublime, than we who never have turned a rhyme. Sing ridings a joy, for me I write. Now, the failed lover compares his achievement with the achievement of other persons. The lover says that he at least has achieved some success in enjoying the ride in the company of his beloved and seeing her breathe by his side. He feels that he is better off than many other, for great efforts rarely meets with complete success. Now, in this stanza, the poet compares the success of a poet, and he says that the lover, he feels that his reward of a ride in his beloved's company is superior to that of many other men. He takes the instance of a poet. No doubt his achievement is not little, for he expresses emotions and thought in melodious and rhythmic language. He can translate into words thought through his imagination the feelings of other human beings which they are unable to express. He holds the view that beauty is the highest ideal and describes beauty in his songs. He skillfully arranges all these beautiful descriptions in the form of rhythmical verse. All this is a great achievement, but then does he get rewarded sufficiently for his efforts? He does not, for he lives in a poverty and sickness. He becomes old prematurely. He is no nearer to the achieving his sublime ideal of beauty than those others who cannot write a single line of poetry. Compared to the poet, the lover is better off. The poet can only describe through imagination. The lover's joy in riding with his beloved. The lover actually experiences it. Life is, after all, greater than art in Browning's view. The next stanza. And you sculptor, so you gave a score of years to art, her slave, and that's your Venus, whence we turn to yonder gull that fords the burn. You acquiesce, and shall I repine? What man of music, you grow grey with notes and nothing else to say. Is this your sole praise from a friend? Greatly his operas strain intend, but in music we know how fashions end. I gave my youth, but we ride in fine. In these stanzas, the lover, as he rides with his beloved, is thinking about the fate of the mankind. No one's efforts get an adequate reward. Take the sculptor, for instance. He devoted 20 long years of his life to his art and has made beautiful statue of Venus, the Greek goddess of love and beauty. We admire the statue but turn away from it if we see a living girl in flesh and blood who may be quite ordinary and plain. The simple girl may be crossing a shallow stream, but the movement and life is more attractive than the cold perfection of a still statue. Life is greater than art, and the sculptor must agree with the truth of this view. Why should the lover regret his own lot, for he at least has the pleasure of a ride in his beloved's company. The same unsuccess is also lying with the musician. He grows old composing music. The only praise he gets is that his music sounds great. But fashions, after all, change, and his music will also not be permanently admired. The lover has spent his youth in hoping to win his beloved's love. His reward is at last ride in her company, which he considers his great happiness. Who knows what's fit for us? Had fate proposed bliss here should sublimate my being. Had I signed the bond, still one must lead some life beyond, have a bliss to die with, dim decree, this foot once planted on the soul, this glory garland round my soul. Could I descry such, try and test, I sink back, shuddering from the quest. Earth being so good, would heaven seem best? Now heaven and she are beyond this ride. The lover, in a philosophical way, says that it is not easy to determine what is good for us and what is not. Even if he had entered into a contract with fate that he should be given all happiness on earth itself, he would still hope for some happiness to be attained after death. Man's life does not end in this world. He has a life beyond too, but some of his desires must be left unfulfilled on this earth so that they can be accomplished in the next world. Though man has only a dim idea of the bliss of the next life, it is hope of this future happiness which helps him to face death readily. If, says the lover, he had attained his life's greatest aim on this earth, namely won the love of his beloved, he would have achieved supreme bliss on the earth. Having achieved the glorious reward to satisfy his soul's longing on earth itself, there would be more prize for him, no more prizes for him in heaven. Having reached his ideal on earth, heaven would be barren. The very idea of dying without a hope for future makes him tremble. Man may seek out perfection on this earth, but he would not dare to do so. If he had attained perfect happiness on earth, it would have turned into paradise. Heaven would have faded into insignificance. Disappointments on earth help one to cherish hopes of fulfillment in heaven. He has failed in his love in this life, but he can now die with the hope of getting his beloved's love in the life beyond. His ride is joyful, but beyond that ride, he can hope for the greater and perfect joy of getting his beloveds for even forever in heaven. Browning's philosophy, glorifying failure, is reflected in these lines. He feels that there is a life beyond this life, and one has to achieve something in that life also. So, the perfection of this life can never be achieved, as one has to move beyond this life and left something for that life also. So, the failure on the earth plane is not complete. It is only the half task done. The other half has to be achieved in heaven. The last stanza. And yet she has not spoke so long. What if heaven be that fair and strong, at life's best with our eyes upturned, whither life's flower is first discerned, we, fixed so ever should so abide. What if we still ride on, we too with life forever old yet new, changed not in kind but in degrees, the instant made eternity, and heaven just prove that I and she ride together forever. Ride. The lover now has a fantastic idea as he rides along with his beloved for the last time. His beloved has been silent all this while as the lover mused upon earth and heaven. But that does not matter. In fact, it seems as if he is enjoying heavenly bliss. Heavenly bliss, after all, may be nothing else but life's highest achievement. At the present moment, he and his beloved are riding together, looking up towards the sky, where man imagines heaven, the flower and culminating glory of man's life to be. What if this very situation be in reality heaven, as he rides along with his beloved? At the moment, she is fair and beautiful, and he is strong and healthy. For him, the beloved's company is heaven. Thus, perhaps he might have achieved heaven now. The lover reaches the highest height of his imaginative hope as he says that the ride may continue forever, in which case he would enjoy the happiness of heaven permanently. The intensity of emotion and happiness would increase, although their life would not turn into life in heaven, it would gain everlasting bliss and thus be old and new at the same time. This poem ends with the soaring hope that heaven might just prove to be the present situation made permanent. Paradise might just be the bliss of two people, the lover and his beloved, riding together forever. Ever. So now if you have any queries related to this poem, you can post your comments in the comment section or you can directly message me. I will reply as soon as possible. Thank you.